we're just going to get ahead and start this show pretty early. I guess we'll be talking about Tethers, foundational Black Americans, and of course, let me fix my shirt, my undershirt. Foundational Black Americans and Latinos and Tethers, right? So, foundational Black Americans are obviously a hate group. They are promoting a bunch of anti-immigrant propaganda, and of course, immigration propaganda, anti-immigrant propaganda. I don't necessarily care too much about. What I'm focusing more up specifically is that foundational Black Americans are being complete hypocrites when it comes to like Donald Trump being supportive of like immigration restrictions, and yet here they are also supporting immigration restrictions. So, foundational Black Americans are extremely racist because they like to view everything on the basis of one's skin color. If you are mixed race, such as myself, they don't consider you to be black at all. To them, black means you must have dark skin, very dark skin, like a tire, pretty much. If you are not dark brown or the color of a tire, they will not respect you. They will not view you as black. They will not respect you in the form of their brotherhood of blackness, so to speak, right? So it's honestly pretty pathetic, but that's unsurprising given how Black America um, treats other groups of people, honestly. So the thing with Tethers and foundational Black Americans are threatened by Tethers and Latinos as a whole. They view Tethers and Latinos as nothing more than a threat to their lack of power because obviously they don't have power inside the United States. So they perceive themselves as having power inside the United States because they are citizens of this country. But of course, if you were to add them to the totem pole of who is actually more powerful inside this country, the whites are at the top and the blacks are at the bottom. So it's pretty funny to see them getting upset with like lighter skinned tether people and Latinos and Hispanics that have multiple generations inside this country. It's so funny to watch them squirm and be pissed off about these people who cannot be deported or be removed from the country in any way, shape, or form because they don't really have an argument against those people. Because Latinos, especially someone like me, I am higher in that totem pole, right? So Black Americans are at the bottom. Me as a mixed race, lighter skinned person, according to their logic, right? Because I am white passing, I have privilege, therefore I am up, more up on the totem pole, right? So that's what pisses them off, right? Because they know that there are migrants coming into this country that are of lighter skin tone, and they know that if they are illegal migrants, that a white American is going to associate themselves more or more often with a lighter skinned person versus a black American. If it was up to a white American to choose between a Japanese person and a black American non-Latino person, who are they going to choose? They're going to choose the Japanese person. What if it's a light-skinned Latino versus a black American non-Latino person? Who is white America going to choose? Again, they're going to choose the light-skinned Latino. So that's the main point, is that they don't understand their position inside the United States, which I find that to be extremely hilarious. How's it going, Johnny? Uh, yeah, so I found it to be very extremely hilarious, but these people really need to understand their own position. I guess we got people coming in now. How's it going, you guys? We're talking about Black Americans and their racism in the United States and how they mistreat migrants. People like Tariq Nasheed, all of these Black supremacist people. I like to call them Lodisucios because their brain is filled with sludge, pretty much. Lodo sucio, dirty sludge. So that's pretty much it. Foundational Black Americans are truly one of the most racist groups inside the United States, and it's really a shame that they're choosing to cause problems with other mixed race people in the United States. But it's not really surprising. I feel like Black Americans feel jaded by the white American people, and it's pretty understandable because of the mistreatment that they were having beforehand about 100 years, 200, 300 years. And just to see a bunch of migrants coming in and giving the red carpet, refugees given the red carpet, all of these organizations and people, NGOs that support immigration, they're all given the red carpet. You could be Muslim, you could be Japanese, you could be an African from Nigeria. All of these people, they hate seeing other people be far more successful in a land where they supposedly developed, right? because according to Black American logic, they are the foundation of this country. But if you were such a foundation for this country, you would actually have a leg up against all the immigrants that are arriving. But that's not the case because you have no power inside this country. And that's just how it goes. Nate Higgerson. I don't know who that is, bro. Who is Nate Higgerson? Can anybody explain who Nate Higgerson is to me? But yeah, so foundational Black Americans don't really have a point. They're pretty much ignorant black racists that don't have power inside the United States, but they are so delusioned in their brain. They have like psychosis, I guess. They truly believe that they have power inside the United States simply because they are citizens of this country. But Latinos are slowly overpopulating them, right? Or excuse me, they are growing in population way faster than Black America. So we are going to displace as Hispanics, regardless of race, but as Latinos, as an ethnicity, we are displacing Black Americans. So they can be extremely upset about that. They can call us tethers, they can call us XYZ, but it really doesn't matter, honestly. And then another conversation that also needs to be said is specifically that foundational Black Americans also claim that they are indigenous to the Americas, which makes no sense. It was more than likely my ancestors, my Spanish ancestors, that brought their African cousins over here to begin with, right? If we understand the history of Black America, before they were brought into the Americas by the Europeans in Africa, those were the Africans that lost the tribal wars. Pay attention to that. The Africans, the multi-generational Black Americans inside the United States are the ones that lost the wars in Africa. They lost the wars against their cousins in Africa. The tribal battles that they were having in Northern Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa, yeah, they lost the battles. They were captured. The Europeans came and then their cousins sold them to the Europeans. That's exactly what happened. And they are pretending as if they are the enlightened ones. We are the successful ones. We are the better ones. That's not true. You were only granted to be better because of the development of society and the economics of the United States system. The United States system is what makes you guys better economically. But if we were to leave you guys to your own devices over in Africa, you guys would still be abused as the slaves of your own African cousins. Assuming obviously Europe wasn't expanding the slave trade internationally, right? So that's just the gist of the situation. Black Americans have this heightened view of themselves because they are American citizens, but if you look at the facts of their history, they were the losers of their kind. They were the losers of Africa. They were the bums of Africa. So that's just how it goes. They can be upset about the facts, they could be upset about their place historically, but you can't necessarily claim that you're so much better in a country where white people don't even allow you to have power. White people give Black Americans power only in the sense of restricting another white man from his free speech when it comes to the word nigga and nigger. And that's about it. Anything else outside of that framework or that ideology, white America does not give them any more power. I mean, they gave it to Barack Obama, but Barack Obama was a half nigga, half cracker, right? He was a half nigga and a half cracker. So, being a mulatto in power, that doesn't empower them specifically because, as I recall, Barack Obama isn't foundational Black American either. So, the title of the first Black man or Black president inside the United States, the first mulatto president of the United States, had nothing to do with specifically foundational Black Americans. So foundational Black Americans still have not had a Black president yet, technically speaking. And they are pissed. They are pissed about that fact. And you just have to like rub it into these people. Like, white America doesn't want to support foundational Black Americans. They want to support immigrants from Ghana. They want to support a nigga from Chad. They want to support people who speak Swahili, whatever, right? That's who they want to support. They do not want to waste any more time or resources on foundational Black Americans because foundational Black Americans abuse those resources where if we were given, like for example, Black Americans abuse those resources. If you were to give those same resources to a Nigerian would become very successful. And it's been proven because Nigerians are one of the most economically successful people inside the United States that are black. Okay? Foundational Black Americans are not successful because they haven't adapted to themselves to the economic system that they grew up under because they hate whitey and Black America, Black supremacist ideals. They hate white America so much that they are going to ignore all of the economic advice that white America gives to other Black people, right? So that's why they are minimizing themselves economically and not progressing themselves internationally. So Nigerians now, people from Ghana, right? Jamaicans, Haitians are now becoming more influential and displacing the Black American narrative because, again, not many people really give a fuck about the Black American narrative. Foundational Black Americans don't have a real position inside the United States. But again, they love to pretend as if they are superior to other blacks, to other immigrants, to Latinos, and including Latinos that have dark skin. They truly believe that they are superior, but if we look at society and their place inside the United States, they are at the very fucking bottom. So I'm not sure why it is that they are seeking beef and labeling people as tethers, labeling this or that when their position inside the United States is going to be under the white American conservative Christian belief system. I don't even have to label it as conservative because even in the Democrat Party, which is majority, the majority of Democrats, or at least racially, Black Americans overwhelmingly support the Democrats. But is the Democrat Party a black party? Of course not. They're always pushing up white people into office or people that are of not Black American descent, right? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's not black. She won in New York. El Said, right? El Said, the Democrat running for office. I think it's Michigan or some shit like that. Yeah, yeah, Michigan. I think it is. That's not a Black American. That's a Muslim. That's a Muslim from the Middle East, I believe, if I recall correctly. Like, like they don't understand their position inside the United States, and I'm trying to, understand why they have so much hatred. I guess maybe I did kind of explain it earlier, but it is what it is. But anyways, you guys, I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. There's nothing else more to say. Foundational Black Americans feel threatened by tethers, by Latinos, and it's because white Americans just prefer us. White Americans prefer us over Black Americans. Gotta call a spade a spade. That's just how it goes. So if you guys want to comment below, then whatever. But if not, that's fine. I'm gonna end the stream right here, you guys. I really do hope you guys appreciate the video. That's pretty much it, I guess. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. So peace. By the way, be sure to subscribe as well. We'll see what happens in the next one. I'm out.